Well, hello, everybody. Thank you for being here. This is Dean from the Live Place. Thanks for coming. We're going to do our third trivia night for this new trivia challenge that we're using the myquiz.org. So before I keep blabbering on, welcome everybody. I am going to, before I do anything, show you the totals. Um, this has not changed since the last time. So basically, Mike Wheeler is still on top, although Avery, the Cuban American, I understand, has won a couple of trivia challenges with the Griswold family. And so I do need to up this. So there you go. But tonight's fun trivia challenge on Disneyland will, of course, change these rankings. So before I go any further, I would like to welcome my guest, Arnie from Pepper Tree Villa. Arnie, thank you for being here, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Dean. Hi, everyone. Good to see everyone.
If you guys have not seen Arnie, and everyone on here that I've seen so far knows Arnie, this guy has been doing daily, what do you call your daily show?
The Daily Dose of Disney.
So in the Daily Dose of Disney, Arnie has shown to me at least that I do not know his equal. He knows so much about Disney. And so I asked him if he would join me for this night of fun Disneyland trivia quiz, which he, of course, knows very well. And so before I go any further, Arnie, I want to welcome everybody who's in the chat here because we got some really great people here. All right. Mike Wheeler, good to have you here. As always, Grace F., nice to have you here. Ryan Schoenfeld, good to see you. Keith, big Disney fan. We just celebrated his birthday, and so good to see you, Keith. Make It Blue. Caitlin, good to have you here. And Disney Lost Boys and Girls, first time here for the quiz, so nice to have you here. And let's keep moving down. James Ryan, one of our great viewers. Always good to see you, James. Thanks for being here. It's Joey's World. I want to say a special hello to Keith and Lisa and, of course, Joey for all their great support and the wonderful stuff they do for us. Disney Nerd Herders. Good to see Charlie and Stacy here. They say you're not supposed to say I say a lot. Super Fluffy Eddie, good to have you here again. All right, I am catching up with the chat here. Dis Our Dream, Keith and Angela, or Jeff and Angela, sorry, good to see you. And Todd B, good to have you here. Resort TV 1, hello, Josh, good to have you here. And he was live earlier.
Looks like he was everyone over too.
Yeah. Wow. Did the chat? Oh, I'm sorry, Ernie.
Josh is awesome. So
Josh is great. And I just have to always say thanks to Josh because if it wasn't for Josh and Jenna, I would not be here. I would not have gotten into this. So Russ Stapleton, good to see you here. And now here's a name that I don't even know how to pronounce, but nice to have you here. Space Mountain Potato, good to see you. Shelly Hall, nice to have you here. Disney Master Chief, good to see you. Dad of Resort TV 1, wow, good to see you, Jerry.
awesome.
Sarah 4382, good to have you here. Annette Sweeney, good to see you. Richard Sass, Disney Up, Boiler Up, wow, good to have you here. Brianna P, nice to have you here. Blair Dude, Eric A, Dean Anderson. Wow, we are seeing a lot of people here. Tiki Man fan, I love that name. Good to have you here. Thanks, Josh, for that. I appreciate it if you do subscribe. Ben, the other third of Pepper Tree Villa is here, so good to have you here, Ben. Awesome JTC, good to see you. All right. I think we might have to have a timeout situation here. If one of you could do that, please. All right, my screen just jumped again, so hold on. All right. Phil Campbell, good to see you. Avery, the Cuban American, one of our top, and I think he is going to become the top person here, at least momentarily. Morgan Cullen, good to see you. Joey's best bud, that's Keith. Good to have you here. T. McNeil, Disney Community Support, nice to have you here. Man, there's a lot of people in here. The number of people in the upper left doesn't seem to indicate what's really here.
No, there are a lot of people here.
There are. And this is good because we're giving people a little chance to join us here. David Cantrell, good to have you here. Corner Sports. Pearl Manhattan, good to have you here, Pearl. Ellis Walker. Now I'm kind of going backwards through it. If I missed you, I do apologize, but please post again. Isaac Nail, my good friend, good to have you here. Isaac's one of the great people in our community. And then Carrie McFly, good to have you here. And then I think I said hi to TM McNeil. Amy Catherine. All right, Lori French, good to see you here. All right, guys, let's get moving on this. Before we do, though, I did want to ask Arnie, share a little bit about your channel and what Pepper Tree Villa is about, and I'll remove.
Pepper Tree Villa, we are a Disney-centered channel as well as food and Christmas. We set up 27 Christmas trees in our home here, which was what we call the villa. And you'll see that we have lots of cookbooks behind me, as well as right here, lots of Disney tchotchkes. This is just one corner that we have. We like to focus a lot on Disney history and Disney documentaries. Also, just our live show that we do on Monday nights at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. We do a lot of Disney-centered, especially like the Disney Plus Movie Club. We have a lot of fun discussing old-time Disney channels, Disney movies for the trivia contests that we do. We also have a lot of fun with food in general, recipes, cooking, demos, things like that. Just lots of fun all around.
So one of the funniest things I ever said to you guys was you were doing something on your Christmas trees, and I saw one, and I said, you actually have more than one Christmas tree, right? And I believe the answer was it was something like 20-some. Is that correct?
Yeah, 27 trees last year.
Very nice. All right. So what I'm going to do next, Arnie, is I'm going to give some instructions here. So basically, folks, we need to be a little patient and take a little time here to get everybody set up to do this. So here we go. I'm going to remove Arnie momentarily. What you need to do right now to participate in this trivia challenge is to go to myquiz.org. You can see the instructions here. So it's https://myquiz.org. When you get there, you're going to be asked for a code. You're going to enter 425148. And then I think it just asks for your name or something like that. And then you can participate in the challenge. So what I want to do is give everybody some time now to get over there. And I'm going to go like this. I'm going to bring Arnie back in. And then I'm going to add this to the stream. So here you go. If you go to myquiz.org, I don't know if you'll see exactly like this, but you should get something where it asks you for that code. So enter the 425148, and I am going to see if people, I don't see a lot of people connected right yet. So I think we need to give people a few more minutes. This might have happened before. Hello, Big Noah. Good to have you here. Kay Atwood, good to see you. All right, we got 7 now. And we're going to give it a couple more minutes here. So while we're waiting for people to do that, Arnie, when are you on next?
Well, I will be doing the Daily Dose tomorrow again at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific. And then tomorrow night, Ben and Doug will be joining as well for our regular weekly show, PTV Live, here on Pepper Tree Villa. And that'll be at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific.
That's right.
The topic has not yet been nailed down. We have a list that we've been doing, but we've had to shift things around so we have something in flux for tomorrow.
Okay.
But I'll make that announcement tomorrow for sure.
Okay. So he'll be on twice tomorrow for his daily dose of Disney, and then of course Pepper Tree Villa. That's on it's 10 o'clock, right? Or 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock for you, 10 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, 10 o'clock Eastern. Sorry. Okay. So we've got 12 people on so far, and I see 26 watching. So let's give it a little more time and see if people hop on here. I saw Jim from More Sunshine, Please. Good to see you, Jim. And by the way, Jim and I will be going live with Rob Fuzz on Tuesday night for the Fifth Gate, which we've been doing. And we are at episode 6, which is all the episodes we had planned. So We've got kind of a special night planned, so I hope you can join us. And I've got one surprise prepared. I also saw Emily, LSU mom. Good to see you here.
Hey, Emily. Hello, Jim. Season's greetings, Jim.
Jim is a very popular collaborative guest on many a live stream. Okay, well,
a little more light here.
Okay.
There we go. That's better.
All right. Well, I see 14, and I'm going to start this game in just a moment. But before I do, I'm going to give everybody one last chance just to tell me, is everybody in that wants to be in, or is there, I should ask it this way, is there anybody who has not gotten connected to the trivia challenge and wants to be? I'll give you about 30 seconds or so to tell me in the chat. And if you need any help, let me know. Keith is in. I saw.
Lori French is here. Resort TV One Center over. Very nice. Welcome.
Oh, nice. Thanks for joining us, Lori. All right. Well, it looks like it's going to be 14. So I'm about to start this challenge, and what'll happen is, for those of you who are new, you're going to get 25 questions, and they all have 3 choices. And I'm going to be reading it, and so I do that on the challenge for anyone who's not able to read it on the screen. I read it, and then I give the choices of each one, and then when it's done, there's going to be a little bit of time where Arnie is going to share some things that he knows beyond that. So, and I haven't shown Arnie really, like I've showed him 1 or 2 of my questions in advance. So he's getting this all new. So we're really testing his knowledge here. So anyway, all right. Yeah, Amy, it definitely should say that. So I see we even dropped down 1. So I'm just going to go ahead and start this thing. Are you ready, Arnie?
I am definitely ready. Garrett, welcome. Good to have you here.
Is Monarch Moments on?
Yeah, Garrett just joined.
Oh, yeah. Good to have you here. Is Garrett and or Michelle? Oh, it's Garrett. He says it's Garrett. Okay, good to see you. All right, here we go. How long did it take to build Disneyland? Was it 1 year, 3 years, or 6 years?
I like seeing Sleeping Beauty Castle under construction there. It's very fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, the whole planning of Disneyland took a few years. Walt was after the strike at the studio, he became somewhat disinterested in animation, wanted to focus elsewhere. He spent some time with his daughters on Daddy-Daughter Day at a carousel in Griffith Park and said, there's got to be something that we can do together as a family. And that was the impetus of Disneyland. And yes. When he started talking about the planning, it was originally going to be built across the street from the studios in Burbank, but it grew to be much bigger than that.
What character can you find a tombstone for behind the Haunted Mansion? Was it Oswald, Mr. Toad, or Brer Fox?
That's a good one.
And the answer is, of course, I'm sure Arnie knows, Mr. Toad.
Yes.
What can you tell us about that tombstone or that graveyard?
Well, the whole graveyard itself is just fun itself. It's an animal graveyard. It's different than it is in Florida. This is an animal graveyard specifically that they have there. So,
well, everyone did very well on that one. All right, question number 3. What odd job did Walt Disney do at Disneyland? He worked at the ticket counter, did magical tricks, delivered milk. And this is one I got from a documentary a long time ago. So,
okay, time for the answer. Yes, he delivered milk.
Yeah.
There was a Carnation restaurant there on Main Street, and he drove the milk truck directly down Main Street and would drop the milk off there for the restaurant. Sometimes guests were there in the park at the time, but Walt just took it on in saying, hey, everyone's got to help out once in a while. He just had a lot of fun with it. He loved spending time with the guests in the park.
That is exactly right. All right. How long does the Indiana Jones Adventure ride last? Is it 3 minutes, 5 minutes and 20 seconds, or 11 minutes?
This attraction opened in 1995, March 3rd to be exact. I was there the day it opened, and it took 4 hours if you were standing in line. There was no fast pass for it at that time.
Well, most everyone got this one wrong. It's only 3 minutes. Doesn't that seem like it's longer, Arnie?
Yeah, it does, but it is just a 3-minute attraction.
Yeah.
A lot of it has to do with the queue. The queue, when you actually stand in line, is part of the experience, but the actual ride itself is only 3 minutes long.
Yeah. Trick most people. What is the oldest building on Disneyland property? Is it the Emporium Shop? Is it the Haunted Mansion? Or is it the Main Street Opera House?
This is a good question. I hope most people get this one right.
You never know. These are tough. Oh, they did.
Okay, they did. Good. 61% knew. That was actually originally the workshop where they had lumbering. They would do lumbering in that for the rest of Main Street, the rest of the park, as a matter of fact. They used that building specifically as a workshop. And then they feverishly finished it off to have an attraction in there for as the Main Street Opera House.
Yep. All right, next question. How much did it cost for a child to enter Disneyland when it first opened? Was it free? Was it 50 cents? Or was it $1.25?
There are many tickets sold. That opening day specifically, there was even someone backstage behind on opening day with a ladder getting people to pay him to let them into the park. And it was only 50 cents.
It was 50 cents, and of course that didn't include the tickets to get on the rides, correct?
No, it did not. The tickets were a separate cost. That was in 1955. Adults were $1 to get in.
Yeah.
So there were ticket books eventually.
How much does it cost to rent a Disneyland attraction? You can't rent attractions. $10,000 or $50,000, and I'll add this on top of it, that it's roughly for 4 hours. Oh, I just gave away something, didn't I? Sorry. Well,
there you go.
It's 50,000.
Yeah, you can actually rent an attraction. There have been times over the years where Disneyland has given time for attractions for fundraising. I participated with something called the Pirates of the Caribbean 5K, where you had to ride the ship the equivalent of 5 kilometers for the ride. It was a lot of fun. And I raised about $100 for that attraction.
Nice. How many attractions did Disneyland have on opening day? Was it 18, 21, or 29?
To this day, Disneyland still has more attractions than any other theme park in Disney's empire. More than Magic Kingdom, more than any of the others.
I did not know that. Oh, most people did get this one. It was 18.
Yeah, Disneyland itself has more attractions than any other of Disney's theme parks.
I didn't know that. Even more than Magic Kingdom Florida, huh?
Oh, yeah. And it's only about half the size of Magic Kingdom. So,
and that doesn't include California Adventure?
No, it does not include California Adventure.
Okay. Sauron at Disneyland is found in which themed land? Is it Tomorrowland, Pacific Wharf, or Grizzly Peak?
I remember when this attraction opened in 2001, it was actually in a different land at that time.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, it was an area called Condor Flats. They rethemed it in 2012 when they did a complete relaunch of California Adventure, including the new Buena Vista Street and Cars Land. Cars Land and the whole redo cost $1.1 billion after the initial investment of $600 million for that park.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they took a lot of money to reinvent it.
I'll say. Which one of these stars did not work at Disneyland? Was it Michelle Pfeiffer, Steve Martin, or Leonardo DiCaprio? And remember, I said did not work at Disneyland.
A lot of stars have worked there. A lot of stars are fans. I've even seen some famous people in the park. I had Paul McCartney give me a wink when he walked by one time.
Are you serious?
Yeah, we were sitting in New Orleans Square at the time, right by the train station, and all of a sudden, here's this cast member escorting Paul McCartney, and he looks over at us, gives us a wink, and keeps walking on.
Oh my gosh. Well, it was Leonardo DiCaprio, and I made sure that he didn't seem to be connected in any way, but of course Steve Martin did, and Michelle Pfeiffer.
He worked in the magic shop.
Steve Martin did, right?
Yeah.
What is the fastest speed that cars reach at Radiator Springs Racers? Is it 40 miles per hour, 55 miles per hour, or 64.9 miles per hour?
This attraction, of course, is pretty much like Test Track at Epcot, except that it's 2 tracks, the cars race each other.
Exactly. And it is 40.
Yeah. So it is one of the fastest attractions there. However, it's not the fastest attraction on Disneyland property.
Yeah, right. In fact, I think that question is coming up. I'm not sure. But 64.9, of course, is what Test Track gets to.
Yeah. The same vehicle.
Yeah. What was the last ride that Walt Disney supervised construction of? Was it Peter Pan's Flight, Pirates of the Caribbean, or the Haunted Mansion?
That's a great picture of his office, too.
I love that picture. Yeah. He was such a doer.
Oh, always.
And the answer is, and most people knew this, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, he has documentaries where he shows the Haunted Mansion at times where he's doing things, but he didn't really supervise it. It opened in 1969 after he had already passed.
Yeah.
But the house was there. The shell of the house had been there for several years. He just said that all of his Imagineers were out around the world collecting spooks, inviting them to live in the Haunted Mansion.
Right, right. The nighttime projection show on It's a Small World is called which of the following? The Magic, The Memories, and You, Making Memories, or The Colors of the World?
I love that nighttime show. It is amazing.
I've not seen it, Arnie.
Yeah, that's the Christmas version that you see there. They also have a regular version during the year. Not quite half got it right. Yeah, it's The Magic, The Memories, and You. It goes usually I've seen it every 15 minutes. Every time the clock strikes, it finishes its walkthrough. They show the time, the chimes go off, the doors close, and then the projection show starts. So you have plenty of opportunity to see that show.
It looks amazing. Besides the backstage areas, what attraction did Galaxy's Edge replace? Flying Saucers, Skyway, or Big Thunder Ranch?
That's a good question for people.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they get it right.
Oh, most people knew that.
Yeah, good. Big Thunder Ranch was the area set behind Fantasyland and Frontierland. It was an area that was dedicated to, actually, in its last incarnation, it was an open-air theater that they had the Hunchback of Notre Dame Festival of Fools. Flying Saucers were in Tomorrowland. Space Mountain sits there now.
Okay. What land can you find Gadget's Go Coaster in? Is it Frontierland, Mickey's Toontown, or Critter Country?
This is a great family-friendly coaster. It's a lot of fun. I remember waiting 45 minutes to ride it when it first opened. No fast passes available.
Huh. Wow, people knew this one.
Yeah, it's in Mickey's Toontown. It's nestled in the corner of the area next to Mickey's house and movie barn, where you can go visit Mickey. It was one of the first dedicated areas in Disneyland that was built specifically for meet and greet.
Okay.
Four different scenes that you can visit Mickey. It's great, including Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Oh, nice. Which of these men helped anchor the nationwide television opening of Disneyland? Was it Walter Cronkite, Johnny Carson, or Ronald Reagan?
If anyone had been watching the Daily Dose of Disney today, I actually mentioned this person during the broadcast.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, they knew.
There we go. Yep, he was one of three major celebrities that was doing it. Of course, he wasn't a politician at that time. He was a
Yeah.
movie star at that point.
Name the other two.
Married to Jane Wyman at the time.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The other two were, of course, Art Linkletter and Bob
Cummins.
Bob Cummins. Okay, yeah. Which land will you find Club 33 at? Fantasyland, New Orleans Square, or Adventureland?
Okay, that picture there is of the lounge at Club 33.
Oh, thank you, Arnie. I like
it's wonderful. Doug and I had an opportunity there. It was wonderful. We had our friends that took us there, and they said, okay, you can do it. We can be there. We were the only people in the lounge that night, so it was like a private party. It was fantastic.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, it is above Pirates of the Caribbean in New Orleans Square. And actually, it spills out into other buildings as well. So there's a restaurant directly below that one.
Have you eaten there?
Many times, yes.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
I'll bet. What ride replaced the Wedway People Mover for a short time in 1998? Was it Rocket Rods, Mickey's Racers, or If You Had Wings?
I remember being evacuated from the People Mover once. It was very interesting.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, most people knew this one as well.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rocket Rods didn't last long. It wasn't even operational for, it was a little over 2 years. It just didn't work. It wasn't built for that attraction. They lost funding during the whole process of developing it from a sponsor that pulled out, so they couldn't build it the way they wanted to. They had to do the best with what they had.
Okay. I see Ben's on top with Avery in second. How many roller coasters in total are there at Disneyland and California Adventures? So how many roller coasters? Is it 4, 6, or 8 in both lands total?
Okay. For both, you have Space Mountain, Thunder Mountain. You have let's see, Gadgets Go Coaster. There's also California Screamin'. Then there is Goofy's Sky School, and then the Matterhorn bobsleds. So that would be.
You got it. And most people thought it was 4, but there are a couple of those lesser known ones. And here's one of them. No, this isn't one of them. A Midget Autopia existed until 1966. What attraction was it taken down for? Was it Space Mountain, It's a Small World, or the Haunted Mansion?
This attraction was closed in 1966 and then moved to Marceline, Missouri. They donated it. The city of Marceline did not have enough money to keep it maintained, so they actually had to take it down. The insurance was just too much money. They couldn't afford it. So they had to take it down, and then it essentially, the cars just rotted in the barn that used to be on Walt's family's farm.
Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, very sad.
I think the reason people guess Space Mountain is because you think of Autopia being by Tomorrowland.
You do.
What song can be heard on the gramophone on Tarzan's Treehouse? This is a tough one, I think. Son of Man, I Want to Be Like You, or Swiska Polka? It's a tough one.
Yeah. Now remember, this was a reskin of the original attraction of the Swiss Family Treehouse. So as a nod to that it being the former Swiss Family Treehouse, they have the Swiska Polka playing on the little gramophone.
Now, Arnie, that nobody else would have known that but you. That is something.
I'm sure Ben knew that one.
Oh, did you send me this one? No, you didn't. All right. What is the guest park capacity for Disneyland and California Adventures in total? So what is the guest park capacity for both parks? 85,000, 95,000, or 105,000? And I said guest park capacity.
Yeah.
And the answer is 85,000.
They have reduced that because of fire codes and things. They've actually had over 80,000 people in the park. On August 9th, 1969, when the Haunted Mansion opened, they actually had over 80,000 people in the park that day. Because
just in Disneyland?
At Disneyland, and it was only Disneyland at that time. So they've reduced it since that time.
Wow. Now, these are Arnie's questions. I think that Main Street USA is the first land you encounter when you enter Magic Kingdom. How many lands are there in Disneyland? 7, 8, or 9?
Okay, you have your standard Main Street. Then you have Adventureland, Tomorrowland. You have Frontierland, Fantasyland, New Orleans Square, Critter Country, which used to be Bear Country, Mickey's Toontown, and Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. You have 9 lands at Disneyland.
Huh.
Yeah, there's so much to do.
I would have guessed like they did. I would have probably guessed 7.
Yeah.
All right. Fantasyland by far has the most attractions than any other land at Disneyland. How many are there? 14, 16, or 18?
That there you see the Mad Tea Party, which sits lower than the ground around it. So it actually makes for a beautiful sight line. And the Matterhorn is up above. There's a little nod to the attraction being there. Yeah.
People did not get it.
18 attractions. Those attractions also include the Fantasyland Theater as well as Pixie Hollow and the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. There are plenty of others. Attractions that are only at Disneyland, like Alice in Wonderland, a dark ride. It's only there. Casey Jr. Circus Train is there, as well as Paris. You also get Storybook Land canal boats.
All right, and I remember these. What was the first e-ticket attraction at Disneyland, which was the top ticket? Is it the Submarine Voyage, the Matterhorn bobsleds, or the Rainbucks Ridge Pack Mules, if I'm saying that right?
Rainbow Ridge.
Oh, right. I spelled it wrong.
Yeah.
Rainbow. It is. Oh, most people got it.
Yeah, I've actually mentioned that on the Daily Dose. The Submarine Voyage opened on June 6th, 1959. And then on this day, the submarines, the Matterhorn bobsleds, and the monorail were all dedicated 61 years ago today. Even Vice President Nixon was there for the dedication and was kidnapped by Walt Disney.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Did it just end? I thought that was that the last question?
I guess so.
It was. Well, there we go. Ben of Pepper Tree Villa. And congratulations, Ben. You have come first place, so you will be added to our leaderboard. Avery, the Cuban American, no big surprise. He's usually up towards the top. And Ryan Schoenfeld has this thing where he comes in third place virtually every time, right, Ryan? And so congratulations. Lost Boys and Girls in 4th, James of New Hampshire in 5th, Super Fluffy Eddie in 6th, Jim, I'm assuming More Sunshine in 7th, Amy, and that might be Amy AGC Magic, Disard Dream, whether that be for Angela, congratulations, and Caitlin from Make It Blue, congratulations. All right, let me get back to stuff here. All right. Well, let me go ahead and remove this. All right.
Mike Wheeler only missed one of them.
Wow, Mike.
The other's right.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Mike knows his Disney, and of course, he's been very plugged into Disney for a long time, so I am not surprised.
He's been a faithful viewer also of the Daily Dose, so I'm not surprised because he pays attention to those details that I give him.
He sure does. Well, gosh, it always feels like it goes kind of fast to me, but Arnie, I'm just so impressed with the things that you're able to add on top of the questions. So thank you.
You're very welcome. I'm more than happy to talk about Disneyland trivia. It's a passion of mine. So, and I'm always learning something new.
Did you want to? Let's see. So you kind of gave a little bit of. Well, you should at the end too give a little overview of Pepper Tree Villa again, if you don't mind.
Oh, sure, no problem. Pepper Tree Villa started originally as a food channel We had people that wanted to see us make our recipes, see our baked goods and things like that. So we thought, okay, we can do that. But they also wanted to see our Christmas trees. So we thought, okay, we can do a channel where you can see Christmas and baked goods. But we love Disney so much. The villa here is like, you know, Disney Gallery North from Disneyland. So we have so much on display. We like sharing Disney with people, and it's definitely a passion of ours. Yeah, that's true, Ben. We are walking knowledge volumes of that park. I've grown up going to Disneyland, so it just feels natural to share that on our channel here at Pepper Tree Villa. And we are live for the rest of the month every day at 5 p.m. Eastern, 2 p.m. Pacific for the Daily Dose of Disney. And then we also get our live show every Monday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. It's called PTV Live. After PTV Live on Thursdays, Ben always drops a video, one of his edited videos, Life with Ben, every Thursday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. We have a lot of fun with it. Oh, that looks like that. There's Doug. Yeah, Doug's part of it too.
Well, so I'm also knowledgeable in trivia, riffing.
Yeah, Doug knows a lot.
Everybody.
That's Doug.
Hi, Dean. Good show.
Yeah, Doug knows a lot about trivia too. So yeah, it's all three of us.
Yeah. Definitely check out Pepper Tree Villa. And Avery asked if he could have an update. So here, Avery, I don't have. Oh, there's the. Sorry. So. It's going to clap every time. So, Avery, as I understand it, from Griswold Family Vacay, you have some more points to be added here. So, I think Avery and Mike are quite typically on top. And then I see Ryan Schoenfeld down here is going to go up in the order here. So, anyway, yeah, let me go back here. Oops, not that one. All right. Can I put you guys back on, Arnie?
Sure. Come on up. Come on in, Doug.
Why is this not?
Okay,
there we go. Oops, not that one. I like this one. There we go. So,
hi, everybody.
How are you, Doug?
Doing well.
We just had awesome Disneyland trivia, and
I was listening to it all. I didn't even need to hear any of the questions, and some of them I had to think about. But it was like, yeah, there's that one. Roller coasters was 6, and just we just sit.
That was a good question, by the way, Dean.
Enjoy some of them. I mean, we just really enjoy the park. We don't necessarily go because we need to do anything. We go to be part of the aura and just be one with the park, because there's such a strong energy force field there that we just love being that. That's why I go.
I believe you. Do you go into the parks and just absolutely don't ride any rides, just wander around?
Doug actually has had people ask him, so did you go on the rides when you were at Disneyland? And he said, rides? Oh yeah, that's right, there are rides.
I have these coworkers I worked with. This is my past corporate years. And they would say, oh, you went to Disneyland? Ugh. You guys, don't you get sick of going on everything there? And I'm like, oh, that's right. There's rides. And they kind of looked at me like I was weird, because I have gone there, and I was there for 7 hours, and I never went. I mean, I saw some parades and saw the fireworks. I never went on a single attraction or anything.
Okay, I was an annual pass holder. I've been an annual pass holder since 1992. And when I was living in Southern California in the mid-90s, I would go there. I would take my bills that I had filled out, the envelopes and everything, put stamps on. I'd go to Main Street, park in front, actually at Disneyland, walk in, go to Main Street, mail my bills, and then walk out.
Nice.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand. You could park literally right in front. There was a little street or a little way where the trams could go. They take a booth and you walk right in.
Yeah, so California Adventure opened in 2001. John Hench, one of the original Imagineers, I mean, he was big with artwork. He's been quoted as saying, looking around California Adventure, he says, I liked it better when it was a parking lot.
Yeah.
When the park first opened, it was a disaster, but it's definitely improved since that time.
I have heard that before, and I kind of miss that parking lot. Is that weird?
We all do.
Oh, you do too. Okay.
There's also a story if you go on the monorail, and there was when the cast members were super bored, they would pick colors of cars and send them to different areas of the parking lot of Disneyland. So if you drive them by, they would have like a big white area of all the white cars be parked like out in Piglet 6 or something. And they purposely pushed, they did that on purpose.
I actually, when I was there in the 90s, I actually saw that happen. So, and then the first summer that Disneyland was open, it was a very hot summer for several weeks. And they had these shirts that the parking lot attendants had. And it was like the Spirit jerseys that they have now, where it says Disneyland all the way across the back. Well, the shirts were white. And it was so hot and so sunny that summer that when cast members would take their shirts off after their shift was done, they would have almost a tattoo of the word Disneyland on their backs because the sun had shone right through the shirts.
That was part of one of our show and tells. It's in the garage. The big metal signs that are on the light posts that tell you it's, Eeyore 5 or whatever parking area it is. For Valentine's Day of the year 2002, he got Simba 2D. So we do have an actual Disneyland parking lot side that Disney was selling. So when you pull into our garage, it's Simba parking thing. The thing's about 6 feet.
Yeah.
And it was in the Simba parking lot.
Yeah. Simba parking lot was on the south side of what is now the Paradise Pier Hotel. So that's where the Simba parking lot was.
I just realized you speak about memorabilia, just so if you didn't see it on my Twitter thing, see if I can do this here. Oh, I got to do it like this. Okay.
Ooh. Oh, look at that.
Fondue set?
Yeah.
Or shrimp forks.
I'll show you
fondue forks.
Mini forks. 6 bronze-plated mini forks. And look at that. It says Walt Disney Productions.
Oh, that's hot.
I loved it. So just so you know, my father-in-law passed away a week ago Thursday.
Oh.
So, yeah, it was somebody was wondering where I've been, and that's where we've been. But we were cleaning out the house and found that, and right away my mother-in-law says, "Well, we know who has to have this."
By the way,
that bequeath it to you.
I wanted to make sure that people knew something. When I was looking at that question regarding the number of attractions at Disneyland for Fantasyland, this is the official guide from Disneyland from last August. This is when Jim of More Sunshine Please was with us. So the pink column there is Fantasyland, and it lists the attractions at the top. It's all 18 that are there.
18 rides.
He woke, I woke up, he says, "So how many attractions are in Disneyland?" There was 16? 18. I got 16. And he's like, there's 2 more. I'm like, really? He says he also got, when he was figuring out, it was only 16 because it was 2 that I would have never, because I just wouldn't think of it. But it was Pixie Hollow, and then they put Bippity Boppity Boutique. So I'm questioning that one because I don't think that's an attraction because you need Daddy's credit card and it's a couple $100.
But Disneyland calls it.
Disneyland calls it. But
I said, according to the guide map. Now, Mike Wheeler brought up an interesting point. The Eeyore parking lot, yes, it disappeared because they needed the space to build Indiana Jones. There was no place really to build it inside within the berm of the Disneyland itself. So they had to shut down the train for a while. They also had to shut down the Jungle Cruise. The Jungle Cruise was shortened, rerouted to fit a sliver of area for a queue so that people could get to the Indiana Jones Adventure attraction. And then when you're in the attraction, the queue goes down, down, down until you actually cross under the train tracks, and then you start to climb back up.
Oh, okay.
Brilliant.
And they rerouted the monorail track to fit the building as well.
Oh my gosh, that must have been expensive.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest rechange of infrastructure next to then what was Star Wars Land.
Oh, I've heard that monorail stuff is super duper expensive.
Yeah, they had just reroute the track for the whole thing, but it took a long time for them to do that.
Okay, you reminded me of something, and I'm just going to bore you with one of my Disney knowledge, but you guys will already know this. You know the story about Walt building a train in his backyard, and he was working with the engineers or the designers, and had designed a tunnel that had a turn in it. Do you know this story already?
Is this the Holmby Hills, the Carrollwood Pacific Railroad? Is that at his house, or is that at?
Well, it was the one at his house, and they said
Holmby Hills.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so anyway, the designer came up to Walt and he said, "Walt, in your tunnel you have a turn. Now, Walt, it would be a lot easier if you just made it straight." And Walt said, "Well, it'd be a lot easier if we didn't do it at all." So they built the turn.
Yeah, that's Walt.
Yeah, they had a trestle there they built. And going back to Star Wars Land, you said there was Skyway and then Big Thunder Ranch. Now, technically speaking, there was a Skyway station that was sat abandoned for about 25 years or 20.
It's still there.
Oh, wow.
One Skyway they had to rip out was the Fantasyland Skyway station.
It's still there.
No, it's gone.
No. The Fantasyland station is still there. The area is still there.
I thought it was completely gutted.
No, not gutted. The building somewhat is still there. It has started to rot, so they're going to have to take it down eventually, but it's still there.
The Fantasyland is gone.
Well,
Tomorrowland
is still there too.
Yeah,
Well, the building itself, Tomorrowland, in fact, the Skyway closed in, I want to say it was around October or November of 1994. I was there the day it closed. The last person to ride the Skyway that day was Mickey Mouse, and they made a big deal about it. I went to Disneyland the next day as well, and at that point, oh yeah, we do need a live place Disneyland meetup.
Okay, so I'm right.
They did tear it down.
They did tear it down. He's crazy.
It was demolished. Got it.
It was all demolished. I have an actual picture of it where they demolished all of the infrastructure to the Skyway at the Fantasyland.
Okay, that's right. They did demolish it.
The chalet.
It had been rotted.
Yeah.
They had to demolish it then they made room for that. Okay.
But the Tomorrowland one is still there.
Yeah. And then so
right
the Skyway, it opened in 56, 57, sometime around there. They built the the Matterhorn bobsleds around it, so it went through the mountain. Closed in 94. Lots of rumors as to why it closed. Essentially, it really just closed because of structural integrity within the Matterhorn. The stand itself inside was weakened, and they just couldn't tear down the Matterhorn to rebuild the one tower for the weight that it needed to carry. So they said, "That's it. We're just going to close it." So they closed it in 94. And the next day I went to Disneyland. The towers were gone. The wires were gone. They had planters in front of the stations. They took all the signage away overnight. Everything. It was as if it never existed.
Wow.
June 15th, 2016 was completely demolished.
Interesting. 4 years ago tomorrow.
Yeah, 4 years ago tomorrow. They completely demolished the Fantasyland Chalet.
But it was out of sight before it was demolished, right?
It was visible, but it was visible.
It had been overgrown by vegetation, trees. It was just the way it was. They would leave things alone until they kind of fell apart. There's still some structures like that at Disneyland. There are structures that are somewhat abandoned. There are portions of the Rainbow Ridge experience of the old-time nature train through nature's wonderland. There's still tunnels from that there. For instance, the People Mover track is still there. So it's hard to see that there because it is starting to decay. And there is talk of them removing it, but nothing's been settled. I don't think any one of the presidents of Disneyland wants to have the legacy of, oh yeah, I used part of my budget to tear down the old People Mover tracks.
I don't think none of us have a problem with it. And also with the Disneyland Railroad, it's the first Disney railroad that makes a left turn now, because they had to reroute the railroad tracks to go around. So technically it was always a big circle, a right-hand circle that goes around. Well, now there's an S curve, and now the trains actually take a left.
And they had to do that because they rerouted for Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
Oh, okay.
They also shortened the Rivers of America for that project. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, I heard, and I wanted to say hi to a couple of people, and I do apologize for missing it. But if I didn't say hi to Carlos earlier, Disney World Freak, he's a great streamer at the live.
Oh,
Good to have Carlos here. And Pearl Manhattan, she suggested this meetup at Disneyland. So I think we know who our tour guides are going to be, fellas.
We'll do a walk in Walt's footsteps for you.
All right. That would be awesome.
Yeah, we'll show you who dedicated it in the whole bit.
Well, it's 7:50, my time. It's 8:51 Eastern time. And thank you again, Arnie, for coming on and helping me do this trivia challenge. It was a lot of fun. Doug, thank you. It's always a pleasure to see you.
I didn't mean to come in and crash at the very end.
Oh.
I wanted to, you guys were ending it. And it's like, I know a lot too. Not to say
We'd love having you on. Yeah, that'd be awesome. So we're going to have, and I already said this already to you guys before, that I'm planning to come out to Disneyland, and I told Jim from More Sunshine he's coming with me, and we'll get Pearl and whoever wants to come out there, and you guys are going to show us around, and we'll have a blast.
So I also see Disney Lost Boys and Girls says, I love how Disneyland Railroad today pays tribute to Nature's Wonderland. They do. It's a fantastic little bit where you're crossing over some trestles and you actually see a beaver chewing away one of the trestles. So it looks like it's going to fall. It's perpetually eating away at that particular trestle.
Kim Irvine, one of the Imagineers who spearheaded to retheme that, she said that that was to pay homage to Mark, the Imagineer to the Pirates of the Caribbean Mansion. Mark Davis.
Mark Davis, yeah.
God, totally, like, really needs food. Mark Davis, because he had a sense of humor, well known in Imagineering, where he did things that were kind of silly, that was on the edge. And so they have that thing. So if you look at the trestle, it looks like a beaver is eating it away. It's going to fall apart.
You're welcome, Super Fluffy.
So that was, know that. So I have to always point out, see that. But we have a trestle at Disneyland. I was so excited to go on a trestle at Disneyland with a waterfall underneath it.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
So do you guys hire out for tours? You guys are great, says James Ryan.
Food.
James, buy us lunch.
You feel so inclined. It's pleasure. It's for our pleasure.
Yeah, we actually just love sharing the time there at Disneyland with people.
I think one of our fantastic moderators, Big Noah Mountain 5, has got a great idea. Disneyland Paris should be a trivia night. So we'll find somebody who maybe we'll get like Disney Dan. Does he know a lot about Disney Paris? Maybe
I don't know that he does.
I don't know.
I've only been there for a week, but that was back in 1999. So I don't know that much about the park. I know enough when I was there, but there's a lot more to it since I left.
Yeah, it's
20 last there, 20 years.
And we were supposed to go in 2008, but we decided to buy a house and invest in real estate. So
we have the villa.
Yeah, that so.
As a matter of fact, the stove in the kitchen's name is Paris.
Because that cost as much as maybe half of the trip going to Paris. So we decided, you know what, investing in real estate was a little bit more important than flying off to France.
I'm a big Disney fan.
But eventually we do want to, expand our horizons. But it's been a crazy decade, and who knows what's going to happen in the future. But we will be making it to Walt Disney World sooner than leaving the country first. And then, of course, try to get to Disneyland whenever we can.
I would hope that I could get there when they lift the mask thing. Hopefully that'll happen this year. I don't know.
We don't know, but we'll find out. We'll see what happens.
My main problem is my glasses. It gets steamed up.
I have that problem too.
Yeah, you wear sunglasses, because I wear sunglasses even. And yesterday we actually can go out and do some retail therapy, and we were into some shops, and I was constantly wearing my glasses, and all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, this is not fun.
No. Let's see. Kay said,
the circus girl, that's right. She does go to Paris a bit.
Okay.
That's
good.
Right. Thank you, Kay.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for that either. That's going to be a lot of fun. He's going to be our professional blind tour guide.
Yeah, Mike Wheeler. Fantastic. All right. Well, guys, thanks again. I'm going to go through a few closing slides. So, Arnie, Doug, was there any last thoughts about Pepper Tree Villa or anything you want to share? Or did you already?
Thank you all for your support and
yes.
enjoying this. This is you creating the platform. And again, thank you to all of our community who is here. And we love you all.
It's been a blast. Anytime anyone wants to talk Disneyland, just give us a ring, and we love to talk on our channel about Disneyland.
We do it daily, even to ourselves. We're that bored. We just start talking aimlessly about stuff every day until something comes up. That's our life.
Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I'll go through my final few screens. Guys, again, so this just to notice. Oh, let me go ahead and do this. Oh, there we go. Oh, got to click it once. So the live place is now 110 channels. And if anyone's wondering why we've had so much growth lately, it's because we've added the cruising community to the live place. And the rate at which I'm flipping those slides is almost hard on the eyes. So I apologize for that. But there's so many channels that I wanted to show. And my partners are, and Resort TV 1 was on earlier. Josh, thank you so much for sending people over. Josh and Jen are great partners. Dave, Road Trip Dave, good friend. Miguel and Daniela from A Disney Life for Me, and Rob Fuzz, my newest partner. Good to have him here. So also my other channel is Dreamers Empire. So check out that site and just know that I'm also Dreamers Empire. And if you want to contact me or watching this video, here's some contact information, preferably dean@theliveplace.com or through the website. And finally, my saying at the end is the end, or should I say the beginning of your future. Thanks for everybody for showing up. We'll see you next month for some more trivia.